Hey, what's happening? So, in my training, my current training to hopefully become a grand jury administrator, I'm learning even more and more. And it's very interesting some of the real and true history of our country, even with 5+ years of research on everything I've researched. Many things I didn't know. So, it's pretty cool, you know. But what I want to touch on today, because I see and hear this all over the mainstream media, alternative media from almost every person, virtually every, in my country and probably others, is democracy. Now, you're probably going to think I'm crazy, and that's how ill-informed everybody is. Democracy is is way closer to communism and socialism and Marxism than it is to what our country is. The United States is not a democracy. It has never been a democracy, ever. Ever, ever, ever. Well, that was news to me in a way. Um, Obviously, I have my suspicions. Um, and there were some things that he said that, I could elaborate on to him, but this gentleman was extremely well versed in the Constitution, in the Bill of Rights, in the Federalist Papers, uh, in comments from Federalists and Anti-Federalists. I didn't even know there was such a thing. Sad, true, right? So let me give you an example. This is democracy. Let's say you have a group of, this is an example, okay? Let's say you have a group of 50 homeowners in a sect, if you want to call it that, or a shire, okay? Just using that word as an example, those words. In a democracy, if it was a democracy, uh, it's the majority. The majority rules. So let's say one of the guys, one of the people, one of the homeowners his land has a bunch of water on it. Well, the other people would like to have that water, right? They're coveting the fact that he has water on his land. So, in a democracy, first of all, they could go say, "Hey, I'd like to buy your land from you." No, thanks. Been in the family for generations, and I don't want to sell it. So, the people, all the other homeowners, could get together and say, "Hey, let's vote." And hey, Frank, the guy that we're trying to, you know, wanted to buy your land, but you won't buy it. You get to vote too. It's a democracy. And if the majority says that we should all take your land, uh, we're going to take it. Is that the country you think you live in? It is, in many ways, because we've fallen asleep at the wheel. Easily rectified with some knowledge. And so, the other thing I really want to put forth here is that there is a vast difference between a privilege and a right. A privilege is permission. Okay? And this is where the Republic is so amazing. And the one great thing about it, one of the greatest things about it, is that you have the right to have property. Freedom is based, or your rights are based upon property. Period. Right? If you have a sandwich and it's your sandwich, no one can take your sandwich away. It's your property. Your body is your property, right? But let's say you have a neighbor and you have to go take a really long detour to go around his property, but you need to get on the other side of his property. Well, you're friends, whatever, and you ask him, and he says, sure. Do you have the right to just walk across his property? No. So property is the basis for having rights. And so socialism, communism, Marxism, personal property is abolished. Which means what? Rights are abolished. And so people really need to do some research into what a democracy is, what a monarchy is, what a republic is. The United States is not a democracy, has never been a democracy ever. Thank God, or thank the Creator, whoever that or whatever that is. So check this out. A republic, I'll give you the definition. A state in which supreme power is held by the people and their elected representatives, and which has an elected or nominated president rather than a monarch. Sounds great. I like it. And it is the genius of the founders. That's why we have a separation of powers. Yet they're still slightly tangled in that they have checks and balances. None of the judicial or executive or legislative branches can infringe on the power of the other, but they can check them to make sure they're not going nuts. Beautiful. It's absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. And so, just in closing, just another little factoid for you. Do you know when the Revolutionary War ended and why? Well, it ended on September 3rd, 1783. That's when it ended. How did it end? With the Treaty of Paris, with King George III. Now, they were before that saying, we own you. You're part of England. We said, no. No, we don't. We owe no allegiance to England. Well, he didn't like that. Got the war going on. He's also at war with Spain and France, right? So finally he just says, you guys are a pain in the ass. Fine, you want to be free? Go be free. Now, he wasn't going to give us and the land up complete, with no compensation. Before that, he owned America. So we got our republic, if you will, Americans, we got allodial title to ownership of land and the land and the property. That's what we got out of the deal of the Treaty of Paris. What did the Crown get? The Crown got visitation rights or privileges to come and do commerce here, sell us stuff. As long as they could do that, fine, we got a deal. That's your real history, in case you didn't know. I didn't. And, the other thing I wanted to tell you is a little factoid here. Alexander Hamilton. A lot of people revere him, and he was to be revered in many ways. But he was a monarchist. He believed in having a king. He was not a proponent for a republic. So he even asked George Washington to be the first king of the United States. George Washington thankfully said no. And he named his group the Federalists and wrote some of the Federalist Papers. And so a federal body, or you can call it a government, is a club. It's pertaining to a compact league, especially of nations or states. Okay, so it's a group. Whereas a national government pertaining to or maintained by a nation as an organized whole or independent unit, as one. Neither one of them are what our founding fathers set up. They suck. Okay? They all suck. They don't suck because it's personal. Communism isn't bad because they have red flags, and it's because it takes the rights away from the people. If you don't have property, if you don't have ownership, you have no rights, period. The basis of rights is property, period. If you know, I'm happy to define it more, more distinctly for you if you want to, ask a question about it, or if you don't believe it for some reason. So that was just a little short video there. Gotta go wash some dishes, man. Yeah, I could have wrote down pages and pages and pages and pages, but of course these videos I've done 12 hours of research, of studying and training for this in the last 2 days of just watching videos and answering questions and reading and listening to orations from this guy. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's still tough for me even after this long to, the way our founding fathers spoke is hard to comprehend. I'm sure it's more proper English than what we speak. Guarantee it, right? If you guys think that since the revolutionary times we've advanced, you would be sadly mistaken. We have digressed greatly. Greatly. That's all I got today, guys. I'll see you soon, though. Appreciate you coming by. I'll be back soon.